Hi guys! So my 2019 original Spring Hobonichi has arrived and I wanted to do a quick walkthrough with you. This is just in case you are an incorrigible Hobonichi addict like myself and just always like to see as many Hobonichi videos as possible, and also if you're considering getting an original and want to see what the new 2019 Spring versions look like. So this is the Japanese A6 as opposed to the English A6, which has the black pebbly looking cover. This one has a very smooth cream cardstock cover. Obviously it has beautiful stitch binding, and it's the spring version which starts on the 1st of April. So let's have a look. So we have our cream cardstock end paper, and then you have this title page, Hobonichi Techo 2019 Original Spring Edition. And then we have the year at a glance calendars. So you get the current year, 2019, and it gives you the calendar year even though the planner actually starts in April. Then you have the previous year and you have the following year, 2020. Then we have our vertical yearly spreads, which I really like because these are quite flexible and you can use them for all kinds of different things. So I'm going to be using this planner as a morning journal. So I recently started journaling and I'm going to make a separate video about that, but I've been using an A6 English Hobonichi as my daily journal, and I ended up somehow using that at night and writing in it right before I go to bed. And I realized that I actually wanted to incorporate more journaling into my day, so I decided to get this one as well and use it in the morning, or like kind of sometime early in the day. Partly because I'm a terrible like disaster in the morning. I find it really difficult to get up early, and I thought that being able to write in a journal might be something that could motivate me to look forward to getting up. And so what I thought that I would do is write one thing that I'm looking forward to for that day in this spread. So you've got enough space here that you could write a couple of words. You know, so it'd be something like getting a coconut latte, or meeting a friend, or going to the cinema, or whatever. Something that I'm planning to do during the day that I'm looking forward to. But obviously you can use this for all kinds of things. So a lot of people use it for tracking. So you can write in different things that you're tracking up here, and then you can like kind of tick them off every day. It's really good for that because you've got gridded space here. So this is just like the cousin and the English A6. You have this space where you can you know, kind of like keep track of a different thing in each box. Or you can use it as a bird's eye view calendar, which is something that I've done in the past. So if you map out what you're going to be doing over the course of the month. Or you can use it as an index of the daily pages, depending on what you're using this for. So if you're using it as a kind of record keeper for, like, say, work notes or study notes, or really anything where you want to be able to refer to individual pages, then it's really good for that. So you get 4 months per page, and it takes you up until May of 2020 because, as I mentioned, this is the April start planner, but it actually starts off with February 2019. So I'm planning to start using this straight away, even though the daily pages don't start for another month and a bit. And then you get a bit of extra space in the end there. And then we go into the month on 2-page spreads, and these ones start in February 2019 as well. So the monthly spread starts a little bit earlier than the actual planner. So again, if like me you're really keen to get started, you could start using this for something before the actual daily pages kick in. So I'm thinking of using this to write down an intention for every day. So I don't know, like today, you know, I'm going to focus on being happy for X, or I'm going to not complain about anything today, or, you know, like kind of just nice positive things for every day. It could be the same thing every day, or I could vary it a bit, but basically just anything that can get the day off to a positive start. That's what I'm going to use this planner for. So in this space you can write in a couple of things. So you could write in, like, you know, vision, or, you know, something that you want to happen that you're kind of focusing on. And obviously if you're using it as a planner, then this is the perfect place to put in your monthly overview. And this is a really nice place to keep a to-do list. So it's, again, gridded boxes. and you've got 7, I think, here, so you could use this for tracking as well, or you can just use it to kind of like keep a running list of things that you want to do during the month. That's how I use this spread in my cousin. So Monday start, you can also get the A6 original in a Sunday start, which is the only planner in the Hobonichi lineup that you can choose a Monday or a Sunday start. The Weeks and the Cousin, and I believe the A6 English planner are all Monday start only, but this one has 2 versions. So the black one, so the one with the black printing on the cover is the Monday start, and then there's also one with red printing on the cover that's a Sunday start, and that goes both for the monthly and, actually, it's only for the monthly pages because there are no weekly pages. So if you want a Sunday start on the monthly, then you have that option for the Japanese A6. And this is called the Japanese planner, but as you can see, a lot of this is bilingual. So the days of the week and the name of the month is in English and Japanese. So it goes from February 2019 all the way until May 2020. So it gives you a little bit of extra room for forward planning. And a feature that I really like about the spring versions of the Japanese A6 and also the Cousin is that because the spreads go over 2 years, as soon as you get to the next year, so this starts in 2019, as soon as you get to 2020, they start labeling it 2020 in gray on the side, and that's because you've got 2 Februarys, let's say. So you've got February 2019, and then you also have February 2020. And just to make sure that you don't mix them up, which is actually quite easy to do, I've done it before, they label the 2021. So I think that's a nice feature, and they do that for all of the months in 2020. And then we go to a spread called Turning the Page, and it's just a blank 3-page spread with dot grid that you can use for whatever you want. So because I've got this planner early and I'm keen to start using it because I didn't have an equivalent journal last year, I'm actually going to start using these to write daily journaling sessions in here from, you know, kind of like a little bit before it starts on the 1st of April. So if you're using this as a planner, it's a nice place either to write down your goals for the year or things that you want to be able to find easily, like addresses and phone numbers, let's say. And you could also use it for like way forward planning if you want to. This is how I use my Cousin, the equivalent pages. So if you, like, say you've got some forward planning for another month after the planner ends, or actually another 2 months because it ends at the end of March 2020, so you have April and May 2020. But if you wanted to note down things that are happening after that, then you could put them here, and it's a convenient place to find them because it kind of is a natural continuation of your forward planning monthly spreads. Then we have this blank spread, and this is something that's different from 2018. So the January start 2019 planners had this feature as well, but I didn't have one, so this is the first time I've actually seen it in real life. It just has a blank spread. There's nothing here, there's no grid, there's no lines, if you can see that. You can actually see the grid lines if you put it, you know, kind of flat, because the paper is so thin that it shows through. So if you did want to have some guidance here, you can see the grid lines from the next page, which is a good thing, but there's actually nothing printed on the page itself. And then at the top you have a Japanese poem. So if you can read Japanese, then I think that would be cool. Otherwise it's kind of lost on those of us who can't read Japanese. And then it has the name of the month. So I think that for my planner, for my use for this, I'm just going to leave it blank, but it's a good place to list your goals for the month in general if you are using this as a planner, or indeed if you're using it as a journal. And then we go into the monthly pages. So for those of you who are not familiar with the Japanese Hobonichi planners, you can see that you've got your monthly tabs built into the side of the planner and that each month is a different color. So this is something that I love about Hobonichi, is that the Japanese planners have this really beautiful color scheme. I love it. It stays the same from year to year. I've been using Hobonichis for 5 years now, and they've always had this color scheme, which I really like because it means that if you use them from year to year, you kind of make friends with the colors and you grow to associate each month with that color. So I think that's really cool. And not only are the monthly tabs on the side in a particular color, but all of the printing is. So the grid lines and all of the details, the quotes and the information about the the day and the date. So I think that's really nice. So this is a typical daily spread. So it's 1 day per page. You have 5 check boxes at the top. And this is different from the English A6 because that doesn't have the check boxes, it just has blank space here. So this is an ideal place to put your top 5 things that you want to accomplish during the day. Or if you're using this as a journal, it's a really nice place to put a gratitude list. So, just like a few things that you're grateful for or nice things that happen during the day. Then you've got the month and the date, and then you've got the day of the week in Japanese. Then it has a timeline here. So the timeline has every hour from 4 a.m. until the following 4 a.m. So it's a 24-hour timeline, but it only prints every 3rd hour in actual numbers, and then the other 2 are just dots. So I don't personally find this timetable very useful because I feel like it's too small to be able to actually use for writing down appointments and detailed time-related activities. But a lot of people do use this, and I think something that it is good for is tracking. So if you wanted to say track sleep and track work hours, it would be good for that because you don't need a lot of detailed space. And because it's gridded paper, you could say you use the grid lines here to show when you were asleep and then when you were working, etc. Then you have some gridded paper, so like with kind of, it's not a dot grid, but it's like a dotted line. And then you have this solid line here, which goes about 1/3 of the way through the paper. And this is to enable you to separate your to-dos or your appointments from your to-dos if you wanted to. So you could put your appointments on the left here by the timeline, and then you could put your generalized to-dos on the right. But if you want to, you can just ignore this line. Then at the bottom of the page we have quotes, and again, if you don't read Japanese, then these quotes are not going to really be very relevant to you, but the quotes are apparently the same as the ones that are used in the A6 English planner, and those ones are really, really funny. I like them. I might have a dog invading the camera. That's my dog, Pet. I think you could just see the top of her head, so she might make an appearance. No, she's going away. So then on the bottom right hand side you have a little mini calendar that tells you where you are in the month, and then it carries on like that. So you get 1 page per day, and then Saturdays and Sundays are colored in, so you can see this is Friday, this is Saturday, and this is Sunday, so you can see the difference between the weekends and the weekdays in terms of the color of the day is blocked out here. And then it continues like that, and then you get to the next month. So for May, we have the same thing. You have this blank page that has a little bit of color. When they first introduced this color strip a couple of years ago, I thought that it would make it really easy for you to find where the month starts, but in my experience, it's actually not really that easy. You can't see it from the side very well, or I can't anyway. So you can get tabs for these on the Hobonichi website, which are useful if you want to be able to find the beginning of the month easily, like if you're using this as an index page for the month or something. And so we've got our poetry, our blank page, and then we carry on the same way with the daily pages. And May is this nice kind of grass green. And then we have an olive green for June. And then we have this blue for July. Then August. September. October is purple. And the day of the like kind of first day of the month will start on a different side of the page depending on where the previous month ends. So, for example, the dashboard page for October is on the left-hand side, whereas the dashboard page for December is on the right-hand side, depending on, you know, like how many days there were in the previous month. So December is a kind of coral. And then we have January. And if you see on the side here, because this is a spring edition, you have 2019 going down here, down the side, and then when you get to 2020, it starts over again at the top. So you've got the 3 months of 2020 starting from the top again. So you have January, February, and March, and then it ends at the end of March. So March 31st is the last day. And then we have some blank gridded note paper. I would say there are about 10 pages at the back, and this is just a kind of like dark gray or black. And there are no blank spaces. The grid goes from the absolute top to the absolute bottom, unlike the calendar pages where you've got a bit of a border at the top and the bottom. And then we have some extras at the back, which always differ a little bit from year to year. So you have this timetable spread. So it gives you 2 timetables, which I think are quite convenient either if you're a student or a teacher. So you can put in, like say your class times. That's what I use it for, my teaching schedule. But obviously you could also use it for just a general work schedule if you work different hours on different days of the week, or if you've got classes or anything really. It could be like a cleaning schedule or any type of weekly schedule. I think that this is a really nice feature because it kind of gives you like a model spread almost, even though you don't have hours, but it still allows you to plan out your week. And then this is something that you can consult every week because if you have things that don't change. So it's again Monday through Sunday, and you get 2 of them. So you could actually use it for 2 different things, like a work schedule and then a, you know, like say home task schedule. So like for example, our recycling goes out on Tuesday evening, so I could put recycling here, and I could, you know, like make that kind of times of the day, or it could be different categories as well. And then you've got this graph paper spread, which is basically a chart. So it's like a blank chart, and again you get 2 of them, so you could track something like subscribers, or you know, if there's anything that you're charting over a longer period of time, you can use this. I've never actually used this. I've only used it just basically as a blank spread to keep track of things like students' marks and stuff. I've never used it actually as a graph paper tracker, but I've seen a lot of people use it for that. So you get 2 of these. And then you get this 4-page spread to record favorites. And again, these can be used for anything. So often I ignore these titles and I just use them to like kind of write down email addresses and phone numbers and anything really that you want to keep track of. But you can use it to like track books that you've read, movies that you've seen, TV shows that you've watched. And it's got this little star rating system, which I think is cool. And it gives you quite a lot of these. So you can put in the date, and you can circle what kind of a thing it was, if it was a film or a book or music or a restaurant. So I think that's really cool. And then you have this new spread, which wasn't there last year as far as I can remember. So it gives you 12 blank boxes with a little shaded space at the bottom of each one, so you could put in a title here, and then you can use this for whatever you want. There might be some instructions here, but I don't read Japanese well enough to be able to say what that is. So I would just use this either for something practical, like keeping track of things like I don't know, finance numbers at work or that kind of thing, or contacts, like, you know, addresses and phone numbers, or for a more journal-y type vibe, which is what I'm personally using this planner for. It could be like, because there are 12, it could be like highlights of the month. So at the end of each month you could write down a few nice things that happened. And it's completely blank, as in there are no grid lines, but because you can see through to the other side has some lines. So you can see that as it is, you can use that to guide the writing. And then it's got some information pages. So some of these are really interesting. Like this one is where, like, if you know what year someone was born, you can see how old they'll be this year. So let's say If someone was born in 1980, they're 39 this year, so I think that's quite cool. And then you've got a record of gifts, which obviously you could also use for other things because it's just a blank spread. And then you've got some addresses here. So this is a dedicated place for addresses, although, like I said, you could also use this one earlier on for keeping track of addresses. And then just a personal notes section where you can keep all of your details if you were so inclined. And then you have the little stamp, which is your own unique Hobonichi number. And then the back, and that is the back cover. So there you have it, the Hobonichi Techo Original, the A6 Japanese version, Spring Edition. So I hope you enjoyed this. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!